Hello guys, my name's Colin. This is Colin Talks Crypto. And no, in this episode, I'm not going to break out into a spontaneous rap, but that does not mean that I will not do so in the future. In this episode of EOS Mega Update Volume 22, we're going to cover everything from a giveaway of 10 Bluetooth hardware wallets from Start EOS. We're going to cover me visiting and moving to Puerto Rico soon, a great user story on EOS. The resource exchange is as early as April 29th, and we're going to take a deep dive into how the Rex will work, what the new EOS User Agreement means for the community. EOS New York made their own hardware wallet. Block.One has a multi-year roadmap internally. Effect.AI is doing a token swap from Ethereum to EOS. How a user was saved from a scam by Scatter's warning. 700,000 users come to the EOS blockchain. Trading is live on Coinbase for EOS. EOS sets new records for blockchain activity. Block.One claimed their 100 million Worbli tokens. The ratio of EOS value to Ethereum value is ever increasing. And lastly, we'll cover the lost EOS Genesis private keys recovery, and it is just around the corner. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. So first of all, look at this awesome t-shirt that Aloha EOS has sent to me. I really love it. Thank you so much, guys. It fits me perfectly. And as I've talked about in my news series, I am going to be moving to Puerto Rico very likely. And I'm not just all talk. I'm actually going to be visiting there and checking it out, hopefully finding a place to lease. And I'm doing this, if you're not aware, because of tax reasons. And I'm going to be applying for what's called Act 22, and thereby locking in all future gains, all capital gains, at a 0% rate on my crypto holdings, because I do anticipate the largest bull run crypto is ever going to be seeing in the next 1 to 2 years coming right up. And I cannot bear to see all my hard work being siphoned away by taxes. And so I'm going to be making a big lifestyle change. And if that doesn't show how hardcore I am about crypto, I don't know what does. So I will be keeping you guys updated on that. I plan to continue that series. And I know that you guys are wondering things like, where's a good place to live? And also I want to cover how much it costs, because it is not totally cheap. There are some upfront costs as well. So I will be covering that in future episodes. All right. And I will be giving out a hardware wallet. So if you don't already know, Start EOS is currently the #1 block producer of the top 21. You can see them on this top bar here, and they have been #1 for quite a while. And they have created their own hardware wallet. And this hardware wallet, they sent 200 units of to the EOS World Expo, and Shaw of EOS Blocksmith was so kind as to give me 10 of them to give out to you guys. So I'm going to be doing a giveaway on that. And I just want to preface this with, I have not even tried this hardware wallet. I have not tested it, and I make no claims as to its security, its performance, nothing else. It's really just a giveaway, and you can try it at your own discretion. It's a Bluetooth device. It's not like you plug it into your computer, you charge it, and I think it has a one tap to verify a transaction, things like that. But again, just be careful. I would personally recommend just using it as a test wallet, play around with it, get familiar with it. So first of all you have to do if you want a chance of winning one of these 10 devices is like this YouTube video, share it on Twitter, retweet my tweet when I put this video up. So do a retweet, and comment in this video with your Twitter handle. And it helps if you put the @ before it, so I can easily search for all the Twitter handles. So put the @, your Twitter handle. And then lastly, follow me on Twitter. And that way I can contact you. I can send you a direct message if you're one of the 10 winners. Okay, guys, so that's the rules of the game. It's pretty amazing that we're getting hardware wallets specifically designed by the EOS community. It just goes to show you the level of innovation and interest and capital being poured into this community. I don't know of any other blockchain that has their own specific hardware wallets. And another one that's being made is New York's hardware wallet, the Metro wallet, which is coming soon as well. So we have not just one, but 2 EOS specific hardware wallets. And we will be covering the Metro wallet later in this video. All right, and I wanted to start this video out on a very positive note. And this is a user story, and it just was really inspiring and cool to hear. So I'm going to share this with you guys. So it's by user Sunburnt Cat on Reddit, and it's titled, EOS is Still Surprising Me. For those who are less technically inclined, I'll try to keep this post as high level as I can. I'm a software engineer working with unmanned autonomous vehicles, and I'm seeing firsthand the problems that large government contractors are facing with new autonomous technologies. The first is that intellectual property is considered the holy grail and thou shalt not question its importance. The truth is that protecting our software has made us extremely slow in our development. For example, we can't use distributed network coding tools like Git because it makes it more difficult to protect our proprietary code. The way I see it, China has already stolen much of our modern technologies and are developing it faster than us. So why can't we collaborate so that we can keep up with our Internet of Things and AI software? The answer is that our politics can't adapt to these technological changes. Fortunately, technologies like EOS are bridging the information gap between the US and China. From a technical perspective, the current problem with Internet of Things technology is that there is no standard of communication between sensors, devices, and, in my case, other aircraft. Each contractor is using their preferred messaging service. For example, DDS or OMS, these are just names of messaging services that they use, and we have come up with creative ways of stitching them together. EOS at its core is a messaging service. And if you look on the EOS GitHub, you will see usernames like Hefner and P. Mesner. They work at a company called OCI in St. Louis and are considered one of about 5 Internet of Things experts in Google's Cloud Partnership Program. My company has worked closely with OCI in the past to get secure applications that run over TCP/IP protocol. EOS isn't just another cryptocurrency. It is really being developed as the everything operating system. I think its biggest strength is being open source and having simultaneous growth in China and the US. So I just wanted to share that, guys. I thought that was really inspiring. We have one of the 5 Internet of Things experts from Google's Cloud Partnership Program involved with EOS behind the scenes in their EOS GitHub. So just to show you, there's some big names involved in EOS. Okay, on to the resource exchange. Big update, guys, on the resource exchange. It is almost here. You know, it's funny, it took a couple of attempts, and I'm actually not sure why that is, to get these 15 of 21 block producer proposals, these multi-sig proposals approved, but it took 3 attempts to get that second proposal approved. And so now it finally got approved, and it passed, and it worked, it locked in. And so we are up to the last step, and we are deploying the final step of the contract. So we could be seeing the EOS Rex as soon as April 29th. I think it might take a few more days than that. And I'm going to read you some highlights. EOS New York made an awesome guide, and we're going to just dive into this because I think everyone wants to know how Rex is going to work, and we're really close. We've even got some sites ready to go, about half a dozen sites, interfaces ready to show you, and they work with the resource exchange. So first of all, when Rex? The final step to deploy Rex is likely to be proposed as early as 29 April and approved within the week. So it looks like early May, possibly the first week of May, we will have resource exchange. And Dan has, as usual, some interesting things to say. So he says, EOS holders own the resources. We own the bandwidth, we own the CPU, we own the RAM. And he says they lend them to the resource exchange to get income. Holding EOS and not putting them in the resource exchange is like owning a house and not living in it or renting it out. And that really hits home. EOS tokens are property ownership of internet real estate. And so why would you let it go to waste? If you owned a home, you would not just let it sit there. If you're smart, if you have any brain cells, you would be renting it out or you'd sell it. You'd not have your funds and your investment sitting there doing nothing. And so that's what he's talking about here. Our EOS tokens are the equivalent of an investment. They are a resource, a scarce resource, and you should not be doing nothing with them because you're actually giving away potential value. And so why should token holders care? Because Rex will pay token holders to care. Dan says, stake and start earning, unstake and collect profits. And that's basically how Rex works. Rex is a resource exchange system. It allows only 30-day loans, unlike Chintai, which has different periods like 7 days, 14 days, 30 days. Rex is just 30 days, nice and simple. But the difference with Rex is that the user retains the ability to vote and also full custody of their EOS. That means you still get airdrops if they happen. You do not lose control of your tokens. The Rex system introduces the Rex token. Essentially, it's an internal accounting unit. Users can acquire Rex by lending their resources. So you take your 100,000 EOS, you convert it to 100,000 Rex. It says, don't worry about unstaking prior to REX launch. So you can leave your token staked. And in fact, you need to do so because you need to vote for at least 21 block producers. To curb market manipulation, purchased REX will be held in maturity buckets that cannot be sold until matured. This is the technicals of how the REX token works. So if one buys REX on Monday at 2 p.m. UTC, they will mature on Friday at midnight UTC, which is about 4.5 days. REX bought on the next day will go into a new bucket. So there's this maturity period for resource exchange tokens, and that prevents manipulation. After REX is matured, about 4 days, it can be sold immediately, unless there is a liquidity crunch. For example, not enough EOS tokens in the REX pool to cover the sale. As the REX value relative to EOS is likely to go up, a user is very unlikely to receive less EOS than they initially exchanged. Now that sentence actually did alarm me a little bit because I thought that there was zero risk for loaning out your EOS tokens. That is not the case per this article. There is a slight bit of risk here. So my recommendation, at least what I'm going to be doing, is before I was going to go all in and put all my EOS on the resource exchange. I think now I'm going to do about a third, and then I'll reevaluate as I go along here. And you guys may want to just weigh your risk, risk reward ratios, etc. And depending on how much you own is how much risk you may want to put into this. There is a small chance, however small, that you may not get as much EOS back as you loan. So just be aware of that. There is a very large chance that you will get more EOS back. So to be eligible to buy REX, you must be voting for at least 21 block producers or delegating to a proxy, such as myself, Colin T Crypto, and I really appreciate your votes. Thank you guys for voting for me. You can delegate to any proxy. And I want to just take this moment to give my opinion on this. I think that block producers probably won't like what I'm going to say, but I am not a block producer and therefore I speak freely. There are some block producer created proxies, and that's totally fine. It's a free market and very welcome. They may encourage you to vote for them, and you may do so. However, my viewpoint on this is that it's probably better to vote for a non-BP proxy because they exist, and because we already had some issues with some conglomerates of block producers whale voting each other in and all that. And so they have this incentive to vote themselves or their friends up higher. And I think it just seems more logical to have a non-BP based proxy, the one that you delegate your votes to. Again, do what you wish, but if, for example, Bitfinex or Worbli made a proxy, I wouldn't be in a hurry to delegate my votes to them. There are plenty of other proxies out there, myself and Investing with a Difference and other guys who do not have block producer ties. And I think that just creates a better checks and balances system. You ask any block producer, they will not agree with this because they want you to vote for them and they want to vote for themselves and their friends. But I think that it's better to distribute the power. It's better to have the different branches of the operating system as a checks and balances rather than so much power in the control of one place. These block producers already have the power to, with 15 of 21, to vote in proposals with multi-sigs. And basically 15 of 21 can do whatever they want on the blockchain. And we as token holders check them. So one way we check them is by spreading our votes amongst proxies or just voting directly, but not to them to have control of our votes because they already have so much control. So why would you give them your tokens as well? I just don't think that that makes sense. And I just had to put my 2 cents in on that. So back to the REX and back onto this little risk factor of the resource exchange, getting maybe not as much tokens back. It says, there is a very low probability to receive less EOS upon selling REX tokens than the amount of EOS a user started with. So the strategy is simple. The earlier a user stakes to the REX, the better. Once a user has purchased REX tokens, they'll want to move all of their REX to their REX savings, which is the same as staking EOS tokens for the sake of security if the goal is long-term holding. So I don't quite understand why this is the case, but it says the earlier a user stakes to the REX, the better. So there's some kind of a time incentive to early staking where it seems to reduce your risk. And that's what I get from that sentence. And I don't exactly understand technically why, so I'll have to dig more into that. But I guess so if you're interested in loaning out your EOS tokens, don't wait too long on it, do it earlier, and then you might have a little better chance of getting more EOS back for your loan. And where can I buy and sell REX? So there are nearly a half dozen resource exchange interfaces already existing, and it's not even live yet. Obviously, they're very excited about this release. And it says, please note that many of these links will not be live until the resource exchange is live. Each platform was kind enough to give us advanced access in order to create this guide. And so here's some various Rex interfaces. We have EOS Titans. I really like theirs. And this they say is recommended. EOS Titan in 3 steps. EOS Titan has created an intuitive and simple user interface for Rex, which will take less than 2 minutes to use and in only 3 easy steps. It leverages the Transit API to enable direct login using Scatter or Ledger on the desktop or through one's favorite mobile wallet, which is my preference for how I use EOS. I use my Ledger and I use the Transit API. I don't have to use Scatter all the time. I can if I need to. And it just makes it simpler. It's just one less thing, one less application I have to load up. And so here's what it looks like, EOS Titan's Rex interface. And so you can use Scatter if you want, or you can directly connect with your Ledger using the Transit API. Loan your EOS and away you go. Apparently it takes 3 steps, 3 clicks, and 2 minutes. So super awesome, super easy. And it looks like they have a built-in voting section so that if you don't have enough requirements, they're going to encourage you to vote, which is so awesome because everyone's going to want to make some passive income. And this interface is going to put the voting right in your face and make it really, really easy. So any stragglers on the voting system are going to jump on board. And I think we're going to see an uptick in active voters on EOS. And then they show you here a screenshot of lending your EOS and all the settings involved with that. It says, moving to savings. From here, users will want to move Rex tokens they purchased into savings if they are not planning on selling at the end of the 4-day maturation period. So there's kind of like 2 pools. There's the liquid Rex tokens and then the staked, fortified, long-term Rex tokens. And you can swap between what status you want them to be in. And here's what it looks like with Rex on your account when you've got different tokens in different places. Fairly simple interface, although I would spend a little time to make sure you understand what they all are before putting your Rex in there, and just make sure you know what you're doing, as with any investment or any asset. And then when you want to sell your Rex, once they've matured, it's very easy to do so. Here's a button, sell Rex. And that would be how you would get your EOS plus interest back. There's also a setting to automatically and immediately withdraw to your account so you don't have to manually do it. That's probably something I would be interested in. I love automation stuff. And we'll move on to some more interfaces. So we have Token Pocket, mobile and desktop interface for the resource exchange. Token Pocket also has a desktop interface which has integrated Transit API, once again, for easy login, and it's featured below. So this is what it looks like here. To access the mobile version, download their app from links on their website. So they have a desktop and mobile version. Looks pretty slick. And Chintai, of course, has made an interface for the Rex as well. So here's Chintai's interface. EOS Inbox, which is sort of like an email-like interface for EOS tokens, also has a Rex section. So you can now interface with Rex using EOSinbox.io. EOS DAC, EOSDAQ.com has an interface for Rex. So here's another choice. EOSRex.io, here's another interface. So as you can see, there's about 6 interfaces all ready to go. As soon as it goes live, boom, you have 6 choices. Really awesome. So that's my coverage of EOS Resource Exchange coming soon as early May. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, and as we said at the beginning, Start EOS has a hardware wallet. Well, so does EOS New York, and it's in the works, and they're going to be releasing more information soon, but here's a picture of what it looks like. It is a Bluetooth device, and so they have made this for use. Kevin was very specific. He's like, the advantage of this device is it's for using. It's not just for storing and holding. He wants this to be the easiest, fastest way to use and interact with EOS. So I have yet to test it. I do find it personally very easy to use my Ledger. So I personally am not really looking for another solution, but maybe there's an advantage to this that I'm not aware of. And maybe it'll blow my socks off and maybe I can use it with my phone easier or something. And so I won't knock it till I try it. And I'm looking forward to what they have created here. And so it says, EOS New York is bringing you the easiest to use hardware key for the EOS blockchain. We are hard at work at perfecting the Metro, but while we do, we want to hear from you. If you want a sneak peek at the Metro features, or you're interested in purchasing it when it becomes available, please visit the link above or fill out the form below. So you can put your email address in here and get signed up for information on this. You know, these EOS New York guys and Kevin are so awesome. They have done so much for the ecosystem. Everything from the EOS User Agreement, which we're going to cover soon, to this hardware wallet, to creating proposals and referendums. I mean, these guys they are one of the top 5 block producers, in my opinion. So a big thank you to these guys. Here's some more information. It says the tamper-proof components of this hardware wallet allow you to access your favorite dApps securely and easily across desktop, mobile, wherever you are. And moving on to Daniel Larimer on Telegram, he says we have a multi-year roadmap internally, and that does not surprise me. I find that Block.One is extremely professional, extremely organized, and so I think this is something that we're going to start seeing June 1st as one of the many things that they unveil. This internal roadmap is going to come public, and we're going to see what they know already. So looking forward to that. But it's nice to hear Dan just confirm they don't have their heads up their asses. They have a very, strategized plan, and it's laid out. So back to EOS New York, and I've covered this in another video, so I'm just going to cover this real briefly. The token auction proposal is a two-part proposal which goes over funding development on EOS as well as a way to optionally secure smart contracts in a more secure manner. And so if you haven't already checked out my videos, I made a 3-part series covering the importance of this, why we need it. I think it's actually more mandatory than optional. So check out those. I think they were called Decentralizing Smart Contracts on EOS. Check out that 3-part series and you'll get an idea why this is so important. All right, Effect.AI is getting ready for a token swap on EOS. And so here's their article on this. So if you have tokens on Effect.AI, you'll want to swap them over. And it says, the most anticipated event of the year is now just days away. On April 30th at 11 a.m., the Effect.AI team will open the EFX token swap portal. This easy-to-use online portal will allow you to swap your old EFX tokens to the new EOS EFX tokens. All right, and I love this article. So, as referenced, EOS New York was heavily involved with getting the EOS User Agreement written and in place. And you may be wondering, what exactly does that mean? So EOS launched with an interim temporary constitution. No one really had any say about it. It was just the default. It was just a placeholder. And now that the community is able to vote with the referendum system, we have voiced and we have voted with our tokens. And that's why we have the EOS User Agreement in place now. So let's go over this and find out what that really means. What is this new EOS User Agreement and what are its effects? First of all, from now on, users are officially responsible for their accounts, and there is no recourse on blockchain level. It is made clear in the EOS User Agreement that it offers no help in the case of loss of, hacks, or otherwise compromised user accounts. And this is awesome. This means it is immutable. This means that tokens are no longer susceptible to freezing or BP whims. They are, per definition of the EOS User Agreement, locked in place. It's not part of the base layer anymore to have recoverable funds. User fund recoverability had been marketed heavily by Block.One before the launch, but it is not part of the base layer anymore. The community has spoken. Now, it's worth noting that this doesn't mean it's not possible. It could be implemented as a layer 2 opt-in solution. Now we have a solid base layer that is just like Ethereum, just like Bitcoin. There are no modifiable accounts on the base layer. And it says, if you look at what ECAF burdened themselves with, it's maybe not for the worst. Token holders will need to take more responsibility, and if they wish, to opt in for additional account security. And so to reiterate, base layer arbitration is gone for good. No one's going to be missing the ECAF and their inability to handle at scale all the voluminous user requests. And third point, referenda are dead, and all power is with the block producers. This might sound alarming, but this is actually a good thing. And if you recall, we originally had a 15% threshold, which was an arbitrary number picked out of someone's hat to be the number that determined whether a referendum proposal would go live. Well, now it's a little different. And it says here, in whatever fancy words EOS New York might wrap this up for you, the EOS User Agreement uses referenda as a plain announcement tool. And it doesn't matter what holders voted on or against. It's just a tool to measure sentiment. But disregard if BPs see fit. So BPs ultimately have the 15 of 21 multisig ability to put in place things or not at their discretion. Token holders still have complete control over who the top 21 BPs are, and that's the checks and balances system. And it doesn't mean that the referendum tool is useless. It means it's good for sentiment. BPs will want to do what the community wants. So token holders express their votes, showing the sentiment. BPs act accordingly or get voted out. And that's the system. And I think it's great. it allows us to get action a lot more quickly. It's really difficult to get 15% votes, as we've seen. And what we have seen is good proposals getting put in place, such as the EOS User Agreement, and we're making advancements. We're getting the recs put in place. If we needed 15%, I don't think we would have seen these things by now. So that's just a feather in the cap showing why this is working, and it's working really well. Again, your ability to have a say in this is to vote or to vote for a proxy. And so those are a couple of things that the EOS User Agreement brings to the table. So it looks like there was another scam out there. It's the Patrios.io scam. And this user got a received token with a memo saying that he had the last day to claim his Patrios tokens. And so he went to the site and he was about to do it. But he says that when he went to Scatter, it told him it was a dangerous operation, and then he rejected it. So Scatter's notification saved and protected this user. And that's exactly the kind of tools I'm talking about that we need, because users aren't always aware of all the ins and outs of the EOS smart contracts or scam sites or update auths. We need very user-friendly solutions, and that's what the free market's going to develop for EOS. And this user summed it up really well. He says, props to Scatter. You are lucky they updated that feature because people got burned previously. The transaction changes your private keys. Kiss your lucky stars. And go on Telegram to thank these bros. So good job, Scatter. All right. And as covered previously, freelance job market is moving its 700,000 users to EOS. The rate of adoption of EOS is mind-blowing. So we'll see how this one plays out. $5 million of VC funding makes it the third behind Everpedia and High Fidelity. And the app is called Moonlighting, and they already have the user accounts, so it's really just a migration. And here's the tweet talking about it. Moonlighting, a platform for freelancers founded in 2014, is getting funding from Block.One's venture arm to bring its 700,000 users to the EOS blockchain. Boom. All right, and trading went live on Coinbase, and now EOS is available. I mean, it's just amazing the rate of adoption. Once again, you know, you have like Cardano came out around the same time and EOS came out around the same time. And EOS got a hardware wallet first. Now it has, it looks like 3 hardware wallets. Cardano just got its first hardware wallet support with Ledger. And EOS got listed on Coinbase. Cardano has not been listed on Coinbase. EOS has smart contracts. Cardano does not have live smart contracts. Again, I'm just highlighting the differences and why I jumped ship and moved over. I do wish Cardano the best. I think that EOS is the best for these reasons. All right, Blocktivity.info. I love this matrix. It just shows activity, and we have the highest on EOS, as is not a surprise. EOS with 18 million operations per day, and it hit as high as 86 million operations per day, which was the highest in recorded blockchain history. EOS is number one. And you know, I want to take a moment to just highlight something here, because there's a lot of discussion of which blockchain is more used. Is it EOS? Is it Tron? They have kind of similar number of dApps and users. EOS, last time I checked, had a little bit more, but look at this activity. It's not even close. It's not even a comparison. 18 million operations per day for EOS, 2 million per day for Tron. That is a big difference. And EOS just hit 1 million user accounts. That is a major milestone. So I would say that EOS is light years ahead. Tron is number 2, not a close race. All right, Dan Larimer confirms Block.One claimed their 100 million Worbli tokens. I thought that was kind of cool. Someone asked them if they had sold them or if they claimed them, and Dan confirmed they're holding and they're not selling. So I think that Dan does appreciate the KYC AML aspect, the use case that Worbli offers. It's different than what EOS offers, and if nothing else, it's a great experiment. And I love this graph, and I've been using this since day one. So this right here is a weekly chart, and it goes all the way back to October of 2017. This is the ratio of EOS to Ethereum. Now, if you'll notice, the graph just goes up in waves, and that shows that the price per EOS has been increasing. The Ethereum price per EOS has been increasing steadily over time. So what it basically means is that if you had sold your Ethereum for EOS, and the further back you did that, the more you would have profited. And as time goes on, it's proving that to be true because it keeps getting more and more valuable in contrast with Ethereum. Ethereum's value is dropping in relation to EOS, and EOS is climbing in relation to Ethereum. So I did some trades back here. I did some trades here. I think about a month or two ago, I did 40% of my Ethereum into EOS, and I'm really glad I did that. I think I did that around here. And look at where we're at now. So I have made profit on that trade. It was a good trade. And that's just the nature of things. You know, I kind of came up with an analogy recently. So we have Bitcoin, the father, the grandfather of blockchains, right? Technology 1.0. Then we have Ethereum. And actually, I would say that Ethereum is like MS-DOS. You can program on it. It's kind of like low level. There's no interface. It's a little tricky to use. The programming language isn't that friendly. That's DOS, right? EOS is bringing Windows to blockchain. EOS is the Netscape moment. Ethereum is the DOS version. I just thought that was an interesting analogy. Let me know what you guys have as far as analogies for EOS. So, okay, lost private keys. Amazing news on this front. We are making progress, guys. I know it's always being said it's close, it's right around the corner. It really is. So there's a couple steps of 15 of 21 block producer approvals on the multi-sig account, and we just about got our second one approved. So Daniel Keys of EOS Nation, the organizer of this lost key solution, says once this multi-sig is approved, which creates the EOS.io lost account, which is a prerequisite for the final step. And the final 15 of 21 block producer multi-sig is the one that deploys the smart contract. And then we can interact with it. And then we can recover our lost EOS Genesis private keys and get access to our zombie accounts. My friend is going to be ecstatic. They'll be able to finally, after like a year, get access to their 15,000 EOS tokens. I know I'm pumped. Okay, guys, that's all I have for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and enter my Start EOS hardware wallet contest. As always, I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for sharing this with your friends. And I'm really excited about what EOS has to bring. I will keep you guys updated on my move to Puerto Rico, and I'll be doing some more episodes on that front because I know that that's a hot topic and people are interested in avoiding taxes when it comes to the next bull run. Have a great day, guys. Take care.